So I just wanted to come out here real quick and just do a quick sit down talking head because I didn't post last week. And if you've watched all of my other videos, the two that I've made so far, you know that I'm a no fluff, straightforward, straight shooter type of guy. So I'm just going to give it to you uncut, straightforward, no fluff. That's my thing. So I'm here on the rooftop with this lav mic holding it. And I hate holding these things because I always think it looks terrible. But, you know, I understand why people like to do this now because, you know what I mean? It's easy, it's efficient. Just grabbed my camera, my gear, just came up here, plopped this up. And yeah, I wanted to do this mostly because I've been sitting at my desk these last few days and I haven't really left. I'm just going meeting to meeting, project to project. So I'm always just here. So I haven't had a time to really take y'all with me for BTS stuff, which that's still going to be here, but I just wanted to do this real quick because I go through my feed. I hit the algorithm cesspool that everyone gets, and there's a lot of people and founders that post 17 years old, 22 years old, 27 years old, and say this is what it took to become a founder, a millionaire, and all that stuff. And I'm just gonna keep it real. That's not my story. I am in my 30s, early 30s, and it's easy to get caught up in all those things in your feed and seeing all these young people and thinking like, man, why am I not there? Feeling like you're behind, but it's just not the case. It takes a lot of work, and I'm privileged and I'm blessed to be in the fortunate position that I'm in. So I wanted to kind of sit down and kind of tell y'all all that I had to do to end up here to be a founder, because it is a privilege to start a business and to run something and to have an idea and to be able to do it. So yeah, so just want to let you know that this is not an overnight founder story. This has been years and decades or a decade of prepping for this. But just to start off, just a little bit about me. I'm Wallen Augustine, from Palm Beach County, Florida. Haitian household. Shout out to all my Zoes out there. I played football my whole life, but when I was in high school, I had a knack for videography, photos. I did the morning announcements. Shout out to Mr. Sachs, man. Came to my high school. He used to work at Max Prep, I believe, and he took up the production side of the curriculum. So I appreciate him for that. And he really poured into me, and I had a liking to it. I shot all of the videos for our football team, where I would do all the highlights for us. I would do the morning announcements. I would do little projects. I did an FCAT. If anybody's from Florida, you know what the FCAT is. It's our standard, our state standard test. And I did a song or something with my boy Jordan, promoting that. And then also traveled with the basketball team, filming their games, getting their film footage for them. But always had a knack for it. Ended up going to school in a small school, liberal arts school at Adrian College. Played football there, but also, I wanted to be a business major. I always wanted to have and own my own business, which is kind of important to the story. I always knew I wanted to be a business owner because I grew up in a community where I would see all the Haitian folks being business owners. I would shop at a Haitian mini grocery store. My mom knew the people that work there and their friends, and our real estate was a Haitian man, and our insurance broker was a Haitian man, and there's so many Haitian people that ran companies, and I listened to the Haitian radio, and there's a Haitian broadcaster. So I always knew that this is what I wanted to do, was to have a business. But long story short, ended up going to school. Had to pick my major. Thought I was going to be a business major. Realized I didn't need to be a business major to be a business owner. So I switched to comms, which is what I fell in love with. So did everything, learned everything. Did, film history, broadcast, radio broadcast. Even did some PR work. Loved it. Enjoyed it. Shout out to my professor and my academic advisor, Mr. Sheehan. Man, I took a lot of classes with him, and he was my advisor, and he was always on me. And yeah, I've been talking to him on LinkedIn, even commenting. So shout out to you, Mr. Sheehan. I appreciate you. But ended up graduating, and before I graduated, I did an internship where I went to a local news station and worked there, and I hated it. They wanted me to edit a certain way for broadcasts or for news broadcasts, which now that I'm older, I understand. There's a certain way to interview for news, and I just wanted to be creative. I didn't get it. But that being said, I got done with that internship, felt like I was constrained, and uh, it didn't help that all the people that worked there were like, "Hey, if you want to be poor, work in this industry. If you want to make money, PR and marketing is good for you." So I did a marketing internship and loved it. Fell in love with marketing at my school. Graduated, got my first gig in marketing. Did that for a couple months, and then I went to my first agency, which was in Annapolis, Maryland, and worked under a social media team. And there was like the first, it was like one of the first like 5 or 6 employees of the social media team, and learned a lot, man. A lot of grunt work. Had to come in early, leave late. Did a lot of the analytics, did the grunt work, which is posting and inputting copy and looking at data. And I enjoyed it. It was fun. Did a lot of cool government work and nonprofit work. But then, I wanted to kind of keep growing a little bit. So I went to work for an educational technology company that was based in Maryland. That was dope. It was a big company, publicly traded, a whole different vibe. You learn a lot about surviving in big corporate America. Most people that work 9 to 5 know what I'm talking about, especially when you work for a larger corporation where it's like, yo, we're family. It's good. We care about you. Let's have fun. Let's have dance parties, all that stuff. But it was a grind, man. They would lay off people left and right. Every couple months, people were getting laid off, but you had to learn to survive. But I went from being, a brand coordinator, again, grunt work, doing what I needed to do, having multiple bosses, to, becoming a manager there and having my own programs like NYU, Yale, Harvard, worked with all those people, and then ended up getting promoted again and became a marketing manager where I oversaw a whole division, which I believe was the email division. And that was cool for a while. But as I was doing all this stuff, I was still accumulating funds. And also, I was doing freelance work as a videographer, photographer. I'd take work where I could. And it was something about just making your first money, your first check, and not having it come from your 9 to 5 that you work. It just, you get hooked. And that was cool. So I did that. I would work my 9 to 5, and then on the weekends and when I was off, I would work my other job that didn't have a paycheck, which was dedicated to, my future, right? Figuring out the landscape. So did that for a while, kept learning, kept building, having network, building the network, meeting different people, which was dope. But eventually, I think a couple years ago, left that job because it was wild, and I wanted to do a little bit more consumer branding work. So I went to another agency in DC where I worked with some of the largest brands like Meta, Nike, you name it. I worked for those brands, and it was dope, man, getting to see how that whole world worked. But I started off as a strategist there, and then eventually became a VP, overseeing strategy, overseeing teams, overseeing operations, which was dope. Learned a lot, met a lot of people at Meta and Nike and stuff like that. But it was interesting, man, because you're sitting in these boardrooms with these people, you're learning all these things. I have a very unique skill set where I know the corporate world very well. I understand marketing, I understand strategy, I understand analytics, I understand how social media works. I understand, all things digital. I've had literally 10 years of working in the digital marketing landscape. I know it in and out. I've seen social media marketing change. I remember when people were like, "You're in social media marketing? What does that even mean? Like what is that? Why do people have social media in their title?" To where it is now, where it's huge, and seeing the evolution of creators. And I saw a need, and I saw the thing. And as I was working through all this stuff, right, I'm realizing I'm building skill sets where I'm really good at the marketing side, corporate, leading teams, leadership, strategy. But then I'm also very attuned to the videography side of it, the arts, the production, the photography, and understanding that realm, pricing, understanding, the rules and the fundamentals of creating stories through visuals. So I'm uniquely positioned to start Lantana, which is, you all know about Lantana. I'm not going to get into that, but it's taken years of acquiring funds and making money to buy nice equipment, to buy these mics and these expensive cinema cameras and the little small things that you need to have a great production. I've been building this all up to do this, and I've been fortunate to do that. I have a spouse who also has helped me be able to take this leap because I don't need to rely on my income. So it's been a grind. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of late nights. Like, y'all weren't in there with me shooting in the gym for real. It was, I would get to work at 7 a.m. and leave at like 9 p.m. sometimes, putting it together proposals, reviewing strategy, having meetings. It's tough, man. To be frank, I got kind of dogged out a couple times too, right? There's times I've gotten yelled at. I got yelled at one time. Very not good manager back in the day, but that's a whole nother thing. But you go through those hardships to get you here. It's tough. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, but you gotta put food on the table. You have to get your bills paid. But I remember at one point that I was like, yo, 27 years old. I got to start my thing at 27 years old. That's the time I have to start it. And I remember I didn't do it. And a couple months later, a thing called, there was a virus that went around. And I was glad that I didn't start it yet, because that would have been tough to be sitting at home with starting a new business with no momentum and no one can go anywhere, where I have to have these relationships to build this company. But yeah, I just wanted to come out here and just tell y'all, like, there's been a lot of work that I've put in to get to where I'm at right now. It wasn't overnight. It was nowhere close to being easy. It's still not easy. But yeah, I just don't want people to feel like, if somebody just wakes up and they go, let me start this business and just do it. I understand there's financial implications. I understand that there's implications when it comes to, am I ready to do this? Because it's scary. When you put that notice in, I put my notice in, and I got lucky because the people that, I worked with, they were interested in what I wanted to do. But it was carefully crafting this exit and this plan, which, I can get into a little bit, because I've been seeing this gap in the market for a long time, and I started putting myself in positions to learn these different skill sets. I needed to learn how to manage a team. I needed to learn how to work with these consumer brands. I needed to learn how to understand marketing. I needed to learn how to pitch. I needed to learn a lot of things in every role and every job I took, regardless if the money was high or low, or I got paid a ton or not. I was building specific skill sets. And there's something to be said for a lot of people, young people that are trying to get jobs. It's not all about how much money you can make. How are you building your skill set to do what you want to do? Because I could have tried to work at these large corporations, but they, working at a big place, they silo you into just doing this one thing, and you get good at doing one thing. Working at smaller, more nimbler teams, agencies are great. If anybody's in the marketing world, anybody's in the production, art world, get into an agency, man. Like, especially a small one. You get to learn so much. You have so much leeway to make decisions, and it's such a great breeding ground for learning. So always prioritize learning as much as you can. And it's scary. I've been put in a lot of positions where I didn't know what I was doing, but I did it. And right now, I'm a founder now. There's a lot of things that, I would have been in this place where I didn't know how to do, that I know how to do because I worked at a small agency. I feel comfortable. I couldn't ask for a better story for me. Obviously, I still need this thing to be successful because I believe in it. I'm prepared. Nothing scares me. I've been there before. It took me literally 10 years to feel comfortable, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I would have loved to have done all of this when I was, 22, 24, but I wasn't ready. And I'm ready now, and I feel good. Even a YouTube channel. I've been told I need to start a YouTube channel for the longest. I feel comfortable now. I feel ready now, and I feel like I've become the professional that I want to be, but also the man I wanted to be as well. There's no perfect path. There's no timeline. Everyone has their own journey that they have to take. Don't compare yourself to other people. I know it's hard to say, or it's hard to understand now, but don't compare yourself to anybody else. Do what is best for you, because there is no timeline. There is no perfect path. Everyone's unique. Everyone has their own unique skills and their own unique gifts. Take your time to craft that, and then it'll all happen for you. So yeah, I wanted to come out here and do this. I hope this isn't too long. I don't know how long I've been up here, but just wanted to share that with y'all. Let me know if y'all like this style of video where I kind of sit here and just talk. But yeah, wanted to make sure I got something out. But appreciate y'all. Thank you for dedicating your time to watching this. I know sometimes it's difficult to sit through and watch these videos. If you like it, let me know. Leave a comment. like, subscribe. I'm supposed to say that. And yeah, let me know if y'all like this, and if y'all want me to talk about anything, leave it in the comments. I'm happy to tell y'all what's going on. But we'll get back to the regular scheduled programming next week. It's just wanted to make sure I'm being consistent on here. But all right, peace.